Hi loves, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Soft locks have been all over my Pinterest board this summer. I think they're perfect for vacation and back to school, so in this video I'm going to show you how I achieve this look at home. I'm starting off with freshly washed and blow-dried hair, and we're going to get into the sectioning and parting of my hair to get into individual little braids. This is the edge wax that I'll be using today. It's Murray's edge wax. Feel free to use whatever you're comfortable with, but I find that this slicks down my hair the best. And some more things to help with braiding. I have a hand mirror to see the parting space, a rat tail comb to help with the parting, and a wide tooth comb to just help brush out my hair and section it. If you have a three-way mirror, this would be the best time to use it, but I don't, so my mom is helping me section off my hair, and we're starting with just one part going right down the middle. And a huge tip I would give is to use your edge wax, like run it through your parting after every part, and go through it again with your rat tail comb so that your parting is more clean and precise. Now, this was our first time trying out this hairstyle together, so there is a little bit of a learning curve, and the parts aren't perfect, but they're good enough for me. Here I am just using my handheld mirror to check to make sure my part is straight because I don't play about my middle part. So we're starting the line from from my eyebrows all the way up to my hairline. Then we start to horizontally part my hair so that we can put it into smaller boxes. And it's really helpful to have like a claw clip or one of those duck clips to clip the hair out of the way so that it doesn't mess with the parting. So my mom's starting off with a rough parting with just a rat tail comb, and then we're going in with the edge wax to clean it up a little bit. And for this style, I wanted small/medium boxes, so that's what we're trying to achieve with this step. So after she parts my hair horizontally across my head, she starts to create individual parts or sections and braids down my hair. I use the crochet method for my locks, so these individual braids will make it easier to attach the faux lock to my actual hair. I also think this method is just very beginner friendly and it really doesn't take too long to do. So this is where it starts to get a little bit tricky because my head naturally starts to curve around, so the horizontal line is more of like a curved line. Just be really careful and mindful about how big your parting spaces are. Again, mine aren't perfect, but they're good enough for me. So if you are a perfectionist, just make sure to take some extra time around the crown of your head. This is the final braiding map that we came up with. Feel free to pause the video, zoom in so you can get a really good look at what my mapping looks like, but I'm really happy with it. I feel like it's pretty full, and I have my middle part in the front. Now, let's get into this hair. I bought this 7-pack of 24-inch locks from Amazon. I'll have everything linked down in the bio, but it came in the color 1B with these beautiful kinks. I did want mine straighter though, so you'll see how I straighten them in the next clip. And for the wrapping hair, I went with the Freetress Equal Cuban twist hair in the color 1 because they didn't have 1B at my beauty supply, but I thought it blended really well with the locks anyways. You can always use spring twist hair if you want to achieve a more butterfly locks style. I straightened my locks by dipping them into some boiling hot water that I had on the stove, or you could use a kettle, but make sure that your plastic container is dishwasher safe so it doesn't fold or burn in the heat. But using this method really relaxes the kinks and straightens the locks. Just be very careful because it's boiling water. I would recommend using like a spoon or tongs just to make sure you don't burn yourself. But after I let the hair set in the water for a little bit, I'll dry it off with a kitchen towel just so I'm not installing my hair wet. These are my locks after dipping them in hot water, and as you can see, they're a lot straighter and longer now. I would say they're around 26 inches. They're about waist length for me, and I'm pretty tall, so I love that. They're still very bouncy and flowy, so none of that was lost when I dipped it in the hot water. Now it's time to install the lock onto my hair. I'm starting off with using a duck clip to move out of the way like any of the other tiny braids that might get in the way. This was extremely useful for the back of my head so that I don't get anything confused and wrap the wrong thing. Using my crochet hook, I'm going in through the little opening that they have for the lock and attaching it to the base of my hair, just making sure to loop it through. Then I'm coming in from above the braid, crochet hooking through the bottom of the braid and attaching my braid and pulling it through. Now, this sort of loops the hair to shorten my real hair so that I don't have to wrap that into the lock. This also reduces like the bulkiness, the bulky look of the lock so that it looks a lot more knotless. As you can see, that's how it should look. Then I'm going to use my Cuban twist hair to start wrapping around the lock. So I'm separating it into a pretty small piece. Honestly, you don't want to use too large of a piece of hair to wrap around. Again, I just don't want it to be super bulky, so I'm sticking with smaller pieces. This method that I'm using, I actually found by another creator. I'll have her linked in the bio. But I'll be taking my crochet hook and attaching the twisting hair and looping it through the base of my hair. So once you've looped through the Cuban twist hair, don't fully pull it out, only take out one side of the hair so that one side is above the base of my hair and the other side is below the base of my hair. Now, this part is super crucial. Make sure that one side is shorter, about half the length than the other side. The longer side we'll be using for twisting. So make sure to gather up the lock and your hair that you twisted halfway through with the shorter side, and I wrapped counterclockwise 2 times around the base before wrapping around the entire length of the lock. I'm using my thumb and my pointer finger to not only hold the lock and my hair in place, but to also help with the wrapping so that I'm not using one hand to wrap all the way around. And I found this method, like doing it this way, to be the most efficient. Now, a huge tip I would give is when you're wrapping the hair around the lock, don't do it so tightly because you do want to be able to move your lock around from day one, and when it's too tight, you'll get a headache. So just make sure that you have a lighter hand with the wrapping around so that you can achieve that soft lock look. Once you get to the end of your wrapping hair where it starts to get a little bit thinner and smaller, I chose to knot my hair at the end and then twist it after cutting it, but I've seen people use nail glue to secure the ends. It's completely up to you. This is what I found works the best for me and is the most secure in my opinion. When you're cutting the two strands of wrapping hair, make sure not to cut so close to where the knot is because the hair will completely unravel. Using your palms, just rub the hair into the lock. Here I am just showing you how I did it again. I'm looping my crochet hook through the lock and attaching it to the bottom end of my braid, looping that through, and then I go from above through the base of my braid and loop the bottom of my braid through the base. This is a little tricky coming in from this angle, but just try to do it to the best of your abilities and loop it through. And it should look just like that. Now, taking my wrapping hair, and one important thing that I like to do with this hair is just run my hands through it to make it more fluffy and break up the strands a little better. I feel like this gives it a softer look and it's not so harsh with that much hair. Now I'm taking the braiding hair through the bottom of my crochet hook and looping it through the top, but not fully pulling it out. Now making sure that one side is longer than the other side. The longer side will be used for wrapping. Make sure to grab the extension and your looped hair into the shorter end of the wrapping hair. And I wrap around the base counterclockwise twice. Sometimes I'll do 3 times before wrapping down the base of my hair. And then once you get to the bottom of the wrapping hair, taking 2 of the strands and tying a knot to secure the ends. Then using my scissors to cut the loose hair and then using the palming method to secure it to the lock. Here I am opening my second pack of the Cuban twist hair. I did get 3 packs, but I ended up only using 2, so I have so much left over. And this is the process of how I begin to prep the hair after cutting it out of the box. I will just run my fingers through it to fluff it out a little bit, loosen up the hair before I separate it. For this style, I used a little bit over 3 packs of the crochet hair, so I do have a good amount of that left over, but it was more than enough and my hair feels very full but really light. I'm adding some Tresemme Extra Hold Volumizing Mousse to fully set my hair. It feels super cooling on my scalp and it does a really great job at keeping any flyaways in place. And this is the final look. I am so in love with this hair. Not only is it light, but it's so long, and I've just been missing my black hair. I can throw it up, move it around on day one, and it just feels very freeing. I love the look. Let me know how this style goes for y'all, and if you want to see how I style it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for next week's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye! Mwah.